Hi, welcome to AT Math. Today, 1.8, Introduction to Functions. Before we get to functions, I want to remind you about graphing. To graph, what we have x and y. The x value goes from left to right. Right being positive, left being negative, as you can see here. The y-axis measures up and down, positive being up and negative being down. When you see the word origin, origin just means the center of the graph or the coordinate plane. It's just at 0, 0. Now an ordered pair, what it is the x value members left to right and the y values up and down. So for x value being a positive 2, go right 2. The y value being 4, go up 4. So 2, 4. Here the left to right value, left of negative 1 and then y value of positive 2, so left 1, up 2. Notice here x value is negative 4, so we're going left 4, and negative 2 is going down 2. Now, 4 and negative 3, 4 to the right, so right 4, and then down 3. Take a look here. Here we've simply put a variable or a letter assigned to it. So here I have assigned a, and a is at negative 4 and down 2. So left 4, down 2. B is assigned to right 5, up 1. C is assigned to right 2, down 2. And D is assigned to left 5, up 3. You go ahead and try. Okay, let's see how you did. 4, 0, so right 4, up or down 0, so right here. B, left 5, up 3, right here. C, right 4, down 2. D, left 1, down 3. Just like that. Now you try again. Let's see how you did. 0, 0 is the origin, so hopefully you knew it was right there. B is 2 and 2, so right here. C, left 4, down 2. And D, right 4, down 3. Like that. Quadrants. What a quadrant is there's 4 of them. The graph is basically split into 4 pieces. Think of quad like 4 wheels, the word quad. So number 1 is here in the upper right. Now why in the upper right? Well, I think because it's positive y and positive x, which is probably a lot of times where you first learn how to start graphing stuff, is in positives. So that's quadrant 1. And then it goes in this direction. It goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, in that direction. Now I want you to try. Figure out which one is each quadrant in. Although I seem to have erased my spots, so let me go ahead and put a spot here, and a spot here. And please go ahead and tell me what quadrant each one is in. Okay, let's see how you did. This is in quadrant 1 for A. This one's quadrant 3. This is quadrant 4. Also, if a coordinate is on an axis, it is in no quadrant whatsoever. So for these two, they're not actually in any quadrant at all because they're on the dividing line. Input, output. You give me x, then I'll tell you what the y is. So the first thing they have to give you is they have to give you an equation. So they have to say, okay, y equals 3x plus 2. From there, they have to supply you then with the x, and only then can you now determine what y is. How do you do that? Well, notice here that instead of x, we simply put in the 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So instead of 3 times x, 3 times 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 makes 5. So when I put 1 in, out comes 5. Now I put the 2 in. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So 2 becomes 8. Well, when x is 2, y becomes 8, I should say. And x is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. So 3, 11. You try again. Go ahead this time. You try and graph. Well, I guess I actually have the numbers here from last time I did this, so we'll just use those, I suppose. When you plug 1 in, 2 times 1 is 1. No, 2 times 1 is 2, excuse me. Minus 1 is 1. And then 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3. And 2 times 3 is 6 minus 1 is 5. But now we have to graph. So 1, 1, 2, 3, and 3, 5. Notice here that if you do it right, it should make a straight line. All equations that have just a single x should make a straight line, so that should make it a little easier on us. And we'll erase that for next time. Now go ahead and try these u-tries too. See how you do. Okay, hopefully you had time. Put in a 1 here. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Plus 2 is 0. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Plus 2 is negative 2. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Plus 4 is negative. Plus 2 is negative 4. So 1, 0. So 1 over it's 0. Guess right there. 2, negative 2. And the 3, negative 4, and notice how it pretty much forms, well, it does form a straight line, just moving my mouse ain't exactly perfect, so it's going to form a line. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4, plus 5 is 1. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, plus 5 is 3. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, plus 5, oh, no, negative 3, excuse me. Because 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, plus 5 is negative 3. And 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, plus 5 is negative 7. Notice there how I made an error and I did not change it on record. I didn't record over it. Because I want you to know that it's okay to make a mistake, but a little careful checking can usually discover the mistake for you. Notice here 1, 1, 2, negative 3, 3, negative 7. Notice how again it does form that straight line. Well, as straight as I'm going to draw it. Well, I guess I do have a computer in front of me. I guess I can just do it this way. I guess I can just go like this and back again. And there you have it. We'll go ahead and remove those for next time, and we'll go to the next page. Now, for x squared here, a future thought. X squared is called quadratic. Just when it forms that horseshoe kind of, that's a quadratic. For here, again, they have to give us the equation, which they do, and they have to give us the x's to choose from. Now, if they don't give you the x, you can choose your own. The question becomes, which x do you choose? Well, really, there's no wrong answer. However, depending on where you pick the x value will determine where the y is, and usually you want to find that bottom part of the horseshoe. I would tell you that the numbers to normally pick, unless I tell you otherwise, normally negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, are usually fairly easy to solve. Usually they'll give you a reflection. Usually you'll find your quadratic formula from there, quadratic function. So I'm going to plug in a 2 here. 2 squared becomes 4. So when x is 2, y is 4. Plug in the 1 squared, when x is 1, y is 1. Plug in a 0, 0 times 0 is 0, so when x is 0, y is 0. Negative 1 becomes a positive 1. Now why? Because negative 1 times another negative 1 becomes positive 1, because two negatives make a positive. And finally, negative 2 squared, negative 2 times negative 2 makes positive 4. Clearly I couldn't quite graph as well as I would have liked before. I'll just take another shot at it here. Let's see if I can come on up. And it should slowly curve. And this one should slowly curve. And that's a little better version of quadratic formula and of x squared. For this one here, same idea. 2x squared is now our new equation. I simply plug in 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2. I do those first because remember inside the parentheses goes first, and then you do the outside part. So 2 squared is 4, but times 2 is 8. 1 squared is 1, times 2 is 2, etc., etc. Notice the difference between the two. Notice that the only difference is this is a little wider. This one shoots up faster. That's because the time 2, instead of being a normal x squared, it makes it thinner. It makes it grow taller, faster. And finally here, 2x squared minus 1. Same idea again. You put the 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2 in. You square them all times 2, and then you minus by 1. Notice how this has the exact same shape as this, but it's simply 1 below. Why 1 below? Because the negative 1 simply pushes all the answers down 1. Now, on example 3 on page 55, you have a word problem. Now, I realize that a lot of you aren't too comfortable taking a sentence and turn it into an equation. But this is a necessary skill, so we should take a look at it. It says here an artist's fee is $5 plus $10 per person. The key to breaking down a sentence into an equation is looking for a couple words. One of the words is the word is, because is means equals. So where you see the word is here, that's your equal sign. And the one before it, artist's fee, so in other words, the artist's fee is, or the artist's fee equals. I'm going to put Y as the artist's fee because when you think about it, the artist's fee is the total amount charged. You have how much per person and you have a flat fee. Combine those two and you get the total fee you're paying the artist. So the Y value is the end result. That is the end. So Y equals. Now you have two pieces. You have $5 plus $10 per person. One's a flat fee and one adjusts based on how many people you have. What I do is because you have the $10 per person, that amount can change based on how many people show up. So you put 10x. 10x because you're saying, well, it's $10 a person, and I may not know how many people are coming. It might be 1, it might be 10. So you just say 10x, saying when you give me how many people are showing up, then I can provide you with the total cost. So it's 10x and then plus 5 because 5 is just the flat fee. And Y equals 10x plus 5 is your finished product. That is your equation until they give you how many people show up. Then you can have a total fee. Finally, you have what's called absolute value in an equation. Now, it's the same as absolute value from before. Absolute value simply measures how far away from 0. Well, in this case here, we're simply going to plug in the different numbers to get us an idea of the outcome. Notice here when we plug in a 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, and do that first. And then the absolute value of 4 is 4. Plug in 1 plus 2 is 3. Absolute value of 3 is 3. Plug in 0 makes 2 is 2. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, and the absolute value of 0 is 0. Why? Because your 0 space is from 0, because you're already on 0. And finally, negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1, but the absolute value of negative 1 is 1, because negative 1 is 1 space from 0. So when you graph this, notice here how it doesn't form a U shape, it doesn't form a straight line, it forms a V. Why a V? Because it's positive on one side and it's the negative reflection of the other. So it's basically a V shape. And that's it, we're done. Thanks again, talk to you later, bye.